What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to another review for the horror marathon that I'm doing for the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Still sticking around the 90s for horror films. Now I figured we get on to this one. And I figured this would be a really good one to talk about for 90s horror films. And I completely forgot this was actually the same year that Wishmaster came out in 1997. And I think Mimic also came out the same year as this, or right around the same time as this did in 1997. But out of the two films, I would say this is my personal favorite between this and Mimic. I really do enjoy Mimic as well, but I like this one just a little bit better. And let's see here. And if you can tell by the title of the video, that review is going to be on The Relic, the next evolution in terror. But yeah, The Relic, like I said, came out in 1997. Directed by Peter Hyams, who I've talked about many times before on my channel before. Peter Hyams, I would say he's my personal favorite director of all time. I always loved Peter Hyams' work as a director. Love Outland with Sean Connery, 2010 with Roy Scheider and John Lithgow. End of Days, that's my personal favorite of his with Arnold. That's actually my favorite Arnold movie is End of Days. I love that movie. He also did, this film. He did two of my favorite Van Damme films, Sudden Death and Time Cop. Oh, sorry about that. Something popped up on my camera there, but never on the screen. Never mind though. But so was I? Oh yeah, so he did Time Cop and Sudden Death with Van Damme, two of my favorite Van Damme films. And I know he also did another Van Damme film, I believe, called Enemies Closer, which I saw once and I don't remember too much about it, but I remember it being pretty solid from what I remember. Van Damme's actually the villain in that. But like I said, for Peter Hyams, Outland, 2010, End of Days, Time Cop, Sudden Death, this film, Narrow Margin, that's a good one with Gene Hackman. Stay Tuned with John Ritter, that's a great comedy. He also directed that. And now this is one of the other horror films that he did besides End of Days in a way, because that was about the devil, and this is a creature movie. And basically, it's a creature feature that takes place inside of a museum, pretty much. It's pretty much about this brand new exhibit that comes into the museum, and it gets loose and it starts killing people in this museum. And you have these two people trying to stop it. You have Penelope Ann Miller, who was in Kindergarten Cop. You have Tom Sizemore, who's been in a lot of movies. Tom Sizemore. And also in this, too, you have Linda Hunt, who played the principal in Kindergarten Cop. Tell me, what was it like hitting that sick son of a bitch when she's talking to Arnold about hitting the abusive father? That's Linda Hunt. She's in this as well. So pretty cool they had two people in here from Kindergarten Cop. And that's pretty much the entire premise. It's about this creature in this museum that gets loose and starts killing people. Now, I would say this is one of the more underrated creature movies, I would say, because it's a film that doesn't get brought up that much. When people bring up creature movies, they always bring up Tremors, rightfully so. Jaws, rightfully so. Or even other creature movies. Like I said, Jaws, Tremors, and they bring up other ones. They even bring up Mimic as well. But not many people bring up The Relic. And a lot of people don't bring up things like this film or Arachnophobia or something like that, but I always thought this was a very solid creature movie. Now, first off, going to the cast, I really like Penelope Ann Miller and Tom Sizemore as the two leads. I think they do a great job, especially Tom Sizemore. I think Tom Sizemore stole the show in this as the main actor. I thought he was great in this. And one thing I wanted to give credit to is that this was actually, the creature effects are done by the late, great Stan Winston. yeah, Stan Winston actually created the creature of this. And I miss Stan Winston a lot. Rest in peace, Stan Winston. Always did a great job doing makeup effects for a lot of movies, and he even got to direct a couple films like Pumpkinhead and things like that. So Stan Winston was definitely one of the masters of creature effects, makeup effects, and he does a really solid job in this. Yeah, it's a little bit of some early CG, but it does look pretty good though for 1997. And I thought there was. I fucking hate this camera. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Anyways, going back to what I was saying before, the camera decided to be an asshole and freeze. Trying to remember what I was saying. Fuck. Can't remember what I was saying. God damn this fucking camera. Yeah, I was about to say that the musical score, now I got it in my head. The musical score in this is great. The musical score is done by John Dubney, who I think did a good job on the score. And it was just a very unique idea of having a creature feature in a museum. Because I don't think there's really many movies, like horror films, that take place, like, that's a creature movie in a museum. Like, you could say, like, Night of the Museum with those creatures, but that's, like, a family film. I'm talking about more like a horror film, like an actual monster movie. Like this one. Because you figure you had monster movies, like, in the subway with Mimic, or you had creatures in, like, the desert with Tremors, or you had, like, the ocean with Jaws, and a lot of other shark movies as well, like Open Water and, things like that. But not many horror films that deal with a creature take place in a museum. And I think Peter Hyams did an excellent job directing the film. I think it's definitely one of my personal favorites of his, because, like I said, out of all the films that he's done in his career, this is definitely in my top 5 of his. Like, my top 5 Peter Hyams films will be End of Days, then Time Cop, Stay Tuned, Sudden Death, and then probably this one. That's probably my top 5 favorite Peter Hyams films. But like I said, I also really enjoy Outland and Narrow Margin, 2010, and things like that. But yeah, I don't really know what more I can say about this film. It's really hard for me to go into this film, because when people do get killed, like, it's not like, it's like they get eaten by the creature, decapitated by the creature, or things like that. So it's not like a slasher film where it's like Friday the 13th, where it's all these creative deaths and things like that. It's more about just these people getting killed and eaten by this creature. And like I said, I really like the effects on the creature. Does Oliver have to keep barking every single time I do this video? I guess I'll have to do this with Oliver barking. So, anyways, I don't really know much more I can say about the Relic that hasn't been said before. I mean, it's really a film that doesn't get brought up at all. But like I said, I really like the cast, like Penelope Ann Miller, Tom Sizemore, Linda Hunt. Stan Winston did a good job on the creature effects, the makeup effects. Very well done musical score. Very well directed by Peter Hyams. And if you want to see like a more of an underrated creature feature movie, I think this is definitely one that you have to check out if you like creature movies, and if you like Peter Hyams as a director. If you're a fan of like Stay Tuned or End of Days or things of that nature, I think this is definitely one that you got to check out for Peter Hyams. It's a very solid creature movie. So, anyways, that is pretty much it for my review for The Relic. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, Oliver.